Hey guys, welcome to episode 36 of the weekly. I know I've been mentioning the wrong numbers. I said it was in the 20s. It's actually 36. I apologize. Anyway, we are back with some cool announcements, discussions. There will be some complaints, who knows. But first order of the day, if you own a GTX 970, they are doing the payouts of $30 right now.
I just got my my email saying that I should reply to the class action.
Yeah, as well as also Warren, I believe you got yours yesterday. Yeah,
I did too.
All right, cool. So yeah, we have Mr. Warren Bowman and Mr. Juan Bagnell. How's it going, guys?
Let's do this. I'm good. I stole Warren's line because I couldn't think of anything else.
And that's why your camera went out.
Oh, snap.
I don't. What the hell? Why is it doing this?
That's exactly why your camera ran out. It can't be stealing lines. It goes, all right, thumbs up, let's do this.
Yeah, guys, I think I'm just going to Optimus Prime it this week. I have no idea why this thing's being so flaky.
Okay, all right, guys, let's begin. Do we have any uselessness for the week? I forgot to even ask. We're talking about TV shows before we started, so it's kind of
okay. So I've got a baby uselessness, and it's not necessarily tech related, but it's the whole like Trump comments that he was on a live mic and he was saying terrible things about assaulting women and yeah, I'm not terribly surprised that Trump said all this, but I'm actually really disappointed in Billy Bush, the TV host guy on like Extra or whatever he does.
He is.
Who played along to such a significant degree in this, because it's not locker room talk, it's bragging about sexual assault. There's a difference between locker room talk and bragging about assaulting women. So I don't want to get overly political. I feel the uselessness lies in whenever someone clips a mic to you, you do not say things that you think someone might eventually play back and make you look bad. Yeah. I have been in rooms full of microphones, and there have been times where I've thought spicy thoughts and thought salacious things, and I've held my tongue from saying them because I'm in a room full of microphones.
Pretty much.
And so that to me becomes the uselessness. It's sort of an older technology, the way that we record audio. So maybe Trump's just not hip to that microphone tech that's out there these days.
He found it on the cyber.
Oh, the cyber. You have to tell the cyber what? Okay, anyway. That would be my uselessness for the week, that disclosure, that reveal. I forget who actually revealed those recordings, but again, if you have any public speaking experience, you don't say stupid shit when a microphone is attached to you.
Yeah, very simple. If this or a clip is in front of you,
STFU.
You just got to be quiet. You don't want to get caught.
And I do agree with you. I think Billy Bush knew he was mic'd up, and in a sense was, I wouldn't say egging it on, but he contributed a lot to that.
He absolutely did.
You know, and you know, I wouldn't say I feel pity for Trump, but in a sense, I'm like, that's where you, Billy, could have easily turned the conversation away, or moved it somewhere else. But you wanted something out of it. You know, you wanted to push the boundaries or get some extra footage, whatever the case may be.
They wanted the hot news. They wanted that hot scoop. They wanted something that was going to give him that attention.
And that preceded him to deleting his Twitter account, so shutting it down, whatever the case may be. So
Billy Bush, or
he cut it off a little bit. Yeah. So but everything Juan said, I definitely agree. You know, that kind of talk is not, it's not warranted. It's not allowed. No. You know, some people will say, we've all had impure thoughts. Yes, we do. That's not hard. You're human.
Well, I very much disagree. I don't want to get into too much.
No, I'm just saying that in sense that, we all have that, but that doesn't mean that you should run your mouth. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use some kind of logic,
discretion.
Right?
I mean, there's dirty thoughts, there's locker room talk, and then there's just it is just things that go over the line. And he, we've all been in locker rooms. We all had the bragging and stuff like that. But even then, in those locker rooms, if you've heard even one of your boys say this in private, you kind of give him that look, like, that's a little off, bro. Like, can't be saying things like that. And when you're talking about basically
or
assault,
you call it out because it sounds like it's a total lie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that part too. Yeah.
That part too.
But
it's just got
hard, bro.
But just I don't want I don't want the narrative to be filled that like all guys talk like this or something like that, and that's definitely not the case. And do not speak in the way Donald Trump speaks whatsoever in regards towards women. And most guys that I hang out with or I'm associated with would hear if they heard any one of us speaking that way, there'd be a bit of a call out. I would feel in some ways of kind of having such a derogatory tone towards that.
Yeah, no, definitely true. But thanks for bringing that up, Juan. And I'm just, putting it out for you guys there. Just, use some discretion and be mindful and also just think properly. All right, cool. Let us move on to the first topic of the day, Google Pixel.
Yeah.
Yes. So
stoked and excited. It's going to be awesome sauce.
Yes.
I can see your excitement, Juan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can see it. Optimus Prime. Blah.
I don't know what this is. Stupid webcam. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so Google announced Pixel on Tuesday. They had a big fanfare. We talked about it, myself and Juan. We had a little hangout. They showcased the Pixel. They also showcased a bunch of devices. But I want to start off with you, Warren, because we didn't have that earlier discussion, and most people may not have been privy to it. But your thoughts on the Pixel? Now we have this device. Google has given us specs. We know it's coming to Verizon as an exclusive carrier. You can buy it on locks. Google is also giving a I didn't say sponsorship. I mean
Daydream.
No. You can pay
Unlimited
monthly.
storage.
No, you can pay monthly with the device.
Yeah, monthly
payments. You have
monthly installments as long as you have like excellent credit. You can get that.
Yeah. As well as also accessories. So what are your thoughts on Pixel itself? Do you think this is what we've been waiting for? Because there was a tagline from The Verge that says, "Pixel's the phone we've been waiting for. How come we don't like it?" Which was almost correct. I almost kind of agree with that.
Verge. It's like even a broken clock can be right twice a day.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
I'm sorry, Warren, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Warren, yeah.
But is this the phone we've been waiting for? Is it realistically the Google phone we were waiting for? I don't understand the difference between calling it Pixel and calling it Nexus. It's a phone not manufactured by them that they put their software on. They just didn't. They just have their little G logo on it instead of having HTC's logo on it. I mean, that's the difference. They can say it's their phone. They can make the spin that they're in control of Android. They're taking an iPhone approach. I think it's really, honestly, really bullshit narrative. That's not the case with this. It's still the same Nexus phone. It's still the same idea. You buy the phone and it's still everybody that's going to buy this are the same geeky, techie people. A few people that might be a little bit more, not necessarily in the tech space, but a little bit more advanced. I might buy these things. They're like Google that just want something that has stock Android on it. And for those that are going to develop, they're going to develop their application of Android based on that particular device. But the device itself, it's nice. It's like a metal and glass build. We've seen that in many other phones right now. So it stays the premium quality. Screen sizes, I wish there was something a little bit bigger than 5.5, something more on the phablet side of things. But this definitely two-tone approach was a direct attack at Samsung, going after how they do the S7 Edge. They're just basically making two pairs to kind of go against them, similar to iPhone does the same thing with the 7 and the 7 Plus. All the specs being the same is nice. I think if you get a bigger screen, you should get a little bit more push, especially paying a little bit more for it. The camera claims that's to be seen. The claim that they're the best camera in a smartphone is a really bold claim to make. Very, very one, especially with Nokia around and many others. That's a bold claim to make, and I have a feeling that's been a little bit generous on what that is, considering HTC's history with cameras. The everything else with it is like a standard Google phone. I mean, there isn't. It's what we've seen. It's basically what the Nexus 6P had, just upgraded specs with the redesigned version of the HTC A9 from last year on it, and it's $150 more than what it really should be. Between 32 and 128 gigs, which I don't understand why they didn't do 64 and 128 instead of doing 32 and 128. I think that that huge storage jump to pay $100 more is kind of a little bit of a ripoff, to be honest with you. And the color names, somebody in marketing did not clear those properly. They said quite black. I said, okay. Yep. We'll wait for them to when they change those names, and all of a sudden it's just called black or onyx, or some other random color they'll call those things. Obsidian, or I don't know what it'll be. It'll be something different. But my overall feeling with them is that it's they told HTC to do what Huawei did, but try to do it better this go around, but don't put your name on it, and that's what you get with the Google Pixel. I just don't see that there's any difference between this and the Nexus. I just don't see it. It's just a lot of people are spinning it that way. You have the blogs trying to spin it that way. They call this their iPhone. This is the iPhone for Android users. I don't know where the hell anybody sees that. I don't see that at all on this. Most of the time they get tagged to Samsung. Remember they got sued for that not too long ago. But that's just my feelings on it. I think the phone will probably be a good phone once it's out. Once they decide to drop the price down, and the carrier exclusivity is stupid as well too, because Verizon still control the updates, so they're going to get updates late, just like they did on the Galaxy Nexus. It's not going to change, and forcing everyone else to buy unlocked, which I'm wondering how that's a timed exclusive, and then eventually that shows up on T-Mobile, who probably be the preferred carrier for this, for people that actually would probably buy this thing, and AT&T. So we'll see.
Okay, before I move up to you, Juan, I just want to ask people in the chat, doesn't matter what device you have, would you buy a Pixel? Is this a device that, with everything Google has mentioned, that you would buy? So just put your comments and answer if you buy it. Now, what else would you like to add to that statement, Juan?
Well, excuse me. So in this notion of, first of all, I still just don't love the name. This Pixel, people are gonna, well, what's a Pixel? And then people have to then say, well, it's the Google phone. I mean, you literally could have just called this Google phone or G phone or something like that. And if you were really trying to capture that iPhone mindshare, you make it as easy as possible for consumers. The move looks like it's hell bent on walking away from the geeky side of tech, getting away from the developer focus and the enthusiast focus, people who like to cut custom software, and then moving towards a more consumer oriented focus. And I think they've done that in kind of a cynical way, where you don't have the benefits that other phones bring, like enhanced water resistance or micro SD card expansion. But you've started us off with 32 gigabytes of storage, just like an iPhone. And we're still yet to see what these different software enhancements bring that warrant another fork of Android that is going to be different for a while. I'm sure eventually everyone's going to get to play with these software bits. But, once this phone launches, that's going to be a new chain of Android that actually stands in the way of addressing the problems of the Android ecosystem and fragmentation. So it's becoming more and more difficult to get excited about this phone, but it's still a situation where, like, I'm very curious to see what this thing does, but I'm not, I'm excited about getting a consumer release LG V20. I'm not excited about this Pixel landing on my doorstep.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. Just to echo quickly as we move on to talk some of the other Pixel related topics. For me, the excitement really isn't there. I've had a few friends, and now honestly, I'll put it out there, who've asked me like, "Oh, I'm excited to buy a Pixel." I told them no. I told them to buy something else. The reason is because, to me, I can't justify the price right now. Just seeing the device as it is.
To get a decent Pixel is $749.
Yeah. And also,
and to get the base model XL after tax, I threw down $840. At $840, I would rather pay the extra 50 or 60 after tax to land an LG V20.
Or a Galaxy Note or an iPhone 7 Plus with 256 gigs or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. They put themselves in that kind of weird predicament. But talking about something else on Pixel, you mentioned it. Verizon is handling the updates. You know, I have spoken to the guys at Verizon before. I've seen their update process, and you know, they talk about how they want certain things a certain way, and every company wants that. But Google's standpoint, you've just put your phone behind in terms of getting updates. So you're telling me that maybe at this point, sorry, there's drumming in the background. Motorola might have, you know, updates faster than you. You know, I'm not saying Samsung, but other companies might have updates faster than your device, or even within your own device scheme, the unlocked version gets an update today, and then the Verizon version might get it in December.
Just like with the Galaxy Nexus.
You know,
Just
and
like
then also, I doubt very much that we're going to see a lot of price mobility on this. I think Google's going to stick to their guns. I think we're going to see Google advertise on traditional media like we've never seen.
Yeah, they've already started doing all the billboards in New York. Lou mentioned the pop-up store also coming up.
And I think there is, we talked about this on the Pocket Now podcast with TK Bay from XDA developers. I think there is some value from the consumer perspective in seeing a G phone that is priced exactly the same as an iPhone, because that means it's premium. So that's the one that I should really buy because it's expensive. I think Google is going to try and play that game. In that regards, it very much becomes an iPhone style conversation. It doesn't matter what's in the phone. It doesn't matter what you don't get. It only matters that you've got this kind of pretty blue color with a glass accent and that it's priced like an iPhone. So it should be treated like an iPhone. And to that regard, they might end up eking out, you know, a success if they make their sales goals. I think they're projecting what, 4 million sales. That might be enough for them to consider this a success.
That is high. I don't see
it is high, but again, if Google is out there ahead of the advertising, isn't that what we've talked about as the deficiency from other manufacturers like HTC and LG, where they keep failing on the ads?
Oh, no, I definitely agree. I definitely agree on that point that, yeah, they're doing the right things, marketing and trying to, I like that aspect. But the device, to me, I don't think will stand up to the marketing. That's my problem, because it's an Android device. And this is where I think they made a mistake. Going against Apple or pushing in Apple and not looking at their number one competitor in the Android space and saying, how can we outbeat Samsung? We don't need to beat Apple. We actually need to place it where people go, this is the true Android phone. Yes, you know, some people people still think of Galaxy as the best Android device to get. So, you know, if I'm walking into a store, I mean, not me, but the version of me that doesn't know tech like this, walk into the store and I go, I want to get a Galaxy device. They'll say, yeah. And if I just look at them side by side and tell me this is water resistant, this has wireless charging, this has micro SD card expansion, right? This has OIS in the camera. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to pay for the Pixel. It makes no sense.
But again, I think even you not knowing as much about tech stuff as you actually do, you're hypothetical you.
Yeah, I'm hypothetical.
That chain of argument that you just made was very rational and was very well reasoned. And I think a number of people, I'm not going to say most consumers don't shop that way, because I think that is horribly reductive and insulting to most people. But I think there's a significant audience out there that are going to treat this with a very emotional response. And they're going to see the name Google and they're going to see Pixel, and someone's going to say, well, it's like the Google iPhone. And they're going to equate that with the advantages of ecosystem and support and software updates. They're going to put all of those emotional ideas together, and that's what'll justify them spending $650 or more on one of these Pixel phones.
Yeah.
I think if you can tap into that market with any kind of success, like Apple has built most of their mobile business on appealing to that lifestyle side of the market, then again, I think Google walks away, they look at those numbers and they claim this is a victory. It's okay if they lose that tiny minority of geeks and fans and developers and enthusiasts, because we're actually really not good consumers.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
We buy things for the long term. We avoid ads as much as we can. You know, when we buy things, it's because we have very specific reasons for what it is that we're buying. We're not what companies want, so it's okay if they lose us, because that's a small loss for the risk of a much larger gain.
No, I definitely agree. I think my own argument is just to the point that I have to, as much as, you know, Samsung, you know, like Stevie J, Samsung's going to blow up soon. And we'll talk about Samsung because they actually go in a very different direction in a sense. But I have to give Samsung a lot of props, especially for the last 6 years in Android. Samsung has always thrown in, remember, wave to answer phone calls, lifestyle features that a lot of us geeks said it was foolish. I didn't, but a lot of people said, oh, it's cluttered, it's this and that. And now Apple has also decided to tap into those lifestyle features. Samsung is, to me, I think is the pure lifestyle Android device because it gives you features that are really practical, but yes, also lifestyle cool. And and I think that's what I wanted to see more from Google than this Apple list. I'm sorry, you don't beat Apple at its own game. Apple has to lose its own game.
We have a comment here, and this argument I've seen quite a few times from the raging D4. Google has to start somewhere. What happens if Samsung leaves Android or forks it? What happens then? And that's one
two things they're not going to do.
Well, that's one potential fear, you know, that Samsung has this leverage that they can use Tizen or they can do all these things. But I actually feel like the Pixel is a step towards encouraging companies like Huawei and Samsung to do this, not the other way around.
Yeah.
This is now more evidence that if Samsung can't get everything that the Pixel has, because Google is going to reserve it for their own phones, then what incentive does Samsung have to stay with Android?
Mm-hmm.
No, that all comes down to the Play Store and access to applications. And unless Tizen's going to be able to fork those Android apps into to work properly, we're not going to see this giant move all of a sudden for them from the go to one.
But it'll be that lobster pot where in Eastern Europe they're going to start releasing more Tizen phones until they get their shit in gear, and then they'll start bleeding out from there.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to some other quick Pixel and as well as also Android news. Hangouts will now be relegated. Google is basically trying to phase us out.
This is America. Nobody knows what regulated means.
Relegated.
Relegated.
Stop
sorry.
using soccer terms. I saw that in emails like Americans.
Whatever they said. Okay.
I knew what you meant, Hungary, because I know what you meant. Language.
I know what he meant, but I'm just like, you said regulated. So half of the regulated means something different around here in America.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, but they're trying to push Allo and Duo. Thoughts on this and how that's
going to start off with the rant? Who wants to start off with the rant? Me or
Warren?
Do
it, Warren. Do it.
I went first last time.
Okay, I'll go first. Allo and Duo are nifty little individual messaging apps that I fired up the day that they were released and I have not used since, and I will not use until they can pass my grandmother test. My grandmother understands messaging in a way that she can pick up her phone, her tablet, or go to her computer and FaceTime or iMessage anyone she wants. She will not use these because they will be tied to one device with an actual phone number. Well, what if I want a Duo call from my tablet? Sorry, Grandma. What if I want a Duo call from my desktop? Well, that doesn't work. Well, then why would I use this over FaceTime? You're right, Grandma. Boy, you're pretty tech savvy for an 80-year-old woman. It's an insta fail for me. I'm gonna keep using Hangouts for my text messaging, and I'm gonna be fine with my sort of Google Voice piecemeal patched combination of Google services until Google figures out how they want to unify all of their messaging platforms.
Warren?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's Allo and Duo. Stupid ideas. Sorry, they're just stupid ideas. Why would you separate two things that were already in the one app that you already had? Hangouts already had video calling. Hangouts already had voice calling. Hangouts already had messaging inside of it. And you're deciding to split all that off because you want to take Hangouts and try to make it some business-related application to kind of compete with the Skypes and the Slacks of the world out there. And I think doing that at the cost of the consumer base, which is mostly who uses this, that anyone has a Gmail account is actually used, and the quickest way to communicate with someone without the need of a phone number or some type of social media account to sign in or log into. It's just amazing to me. They're just completely walking away from that and just, we'll just use Allo, and people want to use the Google Assistant so it can assist you in your text messaging. Nobody really wants to do that right now. Yeah. And them going away with this is I think Google thinks that people will just stick to Hangouts, stay in there, or they'll get rid of Hangouts, or they'll morph it into something else, or they'll throw people into Allo. People just always want to migrate over there. If they basically abandon Hangouts, that will be the last time anyone trusts them with any type of messenger application. There's way too many out there for competition, such as most people, if Hangouts dies out, about a good 70% of them will just move their conversations to WhatsApp. The other part of that will probably move their conversations to Facebook Messenger. Facebook now owns about good 90% of the messaging with the two apps that they have, because Google's stupid. And then the next thing that will happen is that for people that like us that do large group conversations, there's GroupMe, there's Telegram, there's other applications out there that do this and do it a whole lot better. I don't understand why, when they have this large as hell user base that is using Hangouts, that wants to use Hangouts, it just wants them to improve it, they want to walk away and make these two individual apps that I guarantee you now has less than 5% usage right now.
Allo's actual usage numbers plummeting.
Yeah, it is.
Allo has been in free fall since its launch.
I'm pretty sure it's like 1%, maybe 2% of people actually using it. I messaged Thunder E the other day. I said, "Hey, remember this?" And I said, "Google." I said, "At Google, why is Allo useless?" And it can search it for us.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, and sorry, real quick, to that same token, it's also this issue of with Allo and Duo. Again, I mean, like, because we have a number of people in the chat too, just talking about like, well, why couldn't we have just refined Hangouts instead of trying to migrate this?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what everyone's sitting there complaining about. Fully, like, just upgrade what the hell you already have. You booted us out of Google Talk for this. Because we were all fine with G-Talk, and you booted us out of that.
It's this history of them tinkering with really cool messaging ideas and then never following through with anything. I'm still waiting for any kind of traction or update on something like Google Voice. You know, Project Fi is not an acceptable replacement for Google Voice. They don't get my money for Fi until we can really put those pieces together and improve the overall service. And making that the backbone, you know, I can't move over to Allo and Duo because I do so much through my Google Voice number. I still need something like Messages or Hangouts or something that I can actually organize all that stuff, because the Google Hangouts app is a piece of crap. So this is all a complete mess when we look at all of these separate pieces that, instead of reiterating and innovating on separate platforms, why not start bringing these pieces together in a meaningful way to refine the services that already work?
And I'm especially concerned as a Project Fi user than messing around with Hangouts and not really doing anything with it. This was one of the big things about Project Fi, is the ability to have your number any damn where.
Yeah,
as long as you're signed into it.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And you know, some people have argued that you know, the things they try to do with Allo and Duo probably wouldn't be possible with the way Hangouts is. And I'm like, well, rebuild it. Rebuild the app separately.
It can be done.
And release it as Hangouts beta, new beta, whatever it is, and then tell everybody that you need to eventually switch over to this one.
If they were able to integrate Google Voice with it, if they were able to integrate video calling with it and Hangouts dialer and everything else, don't sit there and tell me that all of a sudden they can't integrate an assistant with it. That's complete BS.
I'm just saying. Now, anyway, let's move away from this. I moved the topic up because Stevie J mentioned, and a couple of people mentioned, that, you know, Samsung's in free fall. Well, another Samsung device blew up again. This was supposedly a replacement Note 7, so we're still waiting for the final verdict on that. But in terms of free fall, Samsung is pretty much Teflon at this point. Stock is up, and also they're expecting a 5.6% increase in third quarter earnings. So Anyone care to elaborate or share? I mean, it looks like Samsung fans are not going anywhere.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're also still early in those sales numbers. I think the fallout for this will be long term, not just the immediate knee jerk reaction of, oh no, a couple notes blew up and now we have to get replacement notes. That money's still in Samsung's pipeline as those replacement devices are being sorted. And so I don't think we'll see the full economic impact of these events until next quarter's financials. But then also I think this is probably the release of the Note, I think was actually a pretty strong end of year bump for the Galaxy S7 and the S7 Edge.
Yeah.
With the Note being as expensive as it was, if you didn't need the S Pen, the S7 Edge was a great buy towards the end of the year, especially with carriers sort of offering discounts and deals on them. So Samsung's financials were not built on one phone having problems. And that one phone still sold really well in that initial batch, which that money is still in Samsung's coffers. So again, the ramifications of this are going to be long-term, not near-term, not one fiscal quarter. And the events leading up to this fiscal quarter, I think we're all very positive for Samsung. And we're sort of forgetting that before the Note 7 started blowing up, Samsung was the tech sweetheart of 2016.
16, yeah, I was gonna say 17. And also, just to mention before you continue is, I'm in terms of the long term, I don't even know how much it will affect because Samsung just sold off 3 units. That was supposed to cover a lot of the cost and whatever, the background.
What do you mean by units? Like
sorry, 3 division units. Sorry, I said units. My bad.
No worries.
I said 3 units, like 3 phones. My bad. They sold 3 phones that covered like $2 billion in cost. No, they sold off 3 division units that they said would help in padding some of the effects from the recall. So that also would definitely show up in the financials this quarter too. Sorry, go ahead, Warren.
For what Samsung's dealing with the Galaxy Note 7 now, with this supposedly another one exploding and stuff like that, I wonder how soon they will switch the conversation to the S8. Probably as soon as they can.
Are you kidding? My Twitter feed right now is full of Galaxy S8.
Oh yeah, they're starting now. But when we're gonna get a first at inkling, let's see how badly this goes. If this goes badly to the point, I mean, I'm pretty sure by February, even I wouldn't be surprised if it would be the end of January all of a sudden to hear about the S8 and what is going to be coming out just to get just to move away from.
Why did you guys just post up some rumors on the S8 and some very ridiculous looking specs?
Yeah. So we talked about that on the podcast too. It's like, well, we don't know that this can be real, but again, another batch just came out too with what. There's rumors of another sort of completely wraparound glass device, 4K display, 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and dual camera sensors with modules. Samsung might get into some kind of modular game too. I mean, people are throwing literally every piece of pasta in the pot at the wall to see what sticks until it's finally done. Yeah. And it's getting kind of ridiculous because whatever Samsung can do is going to be a massive letdown from having aggressive rumors this early.
Yeah, yeah, that is very true. I mean, unless they come out with that wraparound display, not 4K, but if they come out with that, I think that would at least be like, oh, okay.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Every phone's going to be an Edge. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, an Edge. No, but one of the rumors was borderless. So basically, like the TVs, right? Just no borders.
How does that work?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what the rumor.
Remember, Sharp did that. Sharp said it was a borderless screen, but how does that work?
Look. I'm just a rumor. I'm just staying the rumors, guys. Please leave me. I'm just.
You're the messenger. We're shooting the messenger. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Sparta. I'm kicking you down the hole.
All right, let's move on to somebody else who made another announcement today. Well, through invites to a few people. Microsoft has its end of the year event, October 26th. It's I forgot what the tagline was. I had it in my head and I just slipped when you mentioned Sparta. Seriously, man, it's all your fault.
I should watch that movie again sometime soon. That was a fun movie.
Let's see. So it's a hardware event, and it says, "Imagine what you will do from Microsoft, 10 a.m. Eastern in New York. We will try and be there if we can. That's all I can tell you. But from all the rumors and indication, it looks like there's no Surface and no Surface refresh. I was hoping for at least a refresh, not a brand new device this year. But it looks like we're getting a Surface all-in-one. We've seen some stuff from Windows Central's posted some schematics and things, from patent releases. So what do you think Microsoft will show? Now, you guys at Pocket Now stated that, we might see a Windows phone in as late as 2018. Can we just burn that idea out of the way and just talk about, let's just talk about the fact that, yes, there's a new Surface type device, not a Surface phone. Surface phones do not exist. Vaporware. This is the new Vaporware.
I don't know. I wouldn't at this point. I wouldn't put it past Microsoft to do something ridiculous like come out with a Surface phone and then try and hype it up again. Like, this is Windows Phone Part 5, and this time we really mean it. Buy this one, guys. I don't know. I'm in a sort of love-hate with Microsoft at the moment in general, just sort of in my personal life. And I don't know what to look for them. I don't know what they can hope to address in the consumer market right now that I think consumers will actually get excited about and will actually address some of the gaping holes in their lineup. The only thing that would make me like really start lighting up is if, like, hey, we figured out some of the aspect ratio and field of view issues with HoloLens, and it's going to be on store shelves, in December for Christmas. Like, that would be rad. Other than that, I don't know. I would love to see a real good working version of Windows Phone. The most recent, insider update builds have actually been pretty decent on my Lumia 950. It's the flavor of the software that should have been available at launch with that phone. We also just covered like a quick little rumor that Alcatel might be selling a version of the Idol with Windows on it. And you're like, okay, that's all neat, but you can't build an ecosystem that way. I want to see a Microsoft that is really unifying all of their platforms.
Look who's in the chat.
And then really make sure that they've got a cohesive strategy for delivering on those promises.
Diamondback's in the chat.
So wait, Juan, have you finished Luke Cage?
Yes, I have.
Well, Diamondback's in the chat.
So according to Warren, Soldier Knows Best looks like Diamondback.
And I think that's super racist, and I think only someone who thinks that all black people look alike would say something like that.
Hey, what's up, Soldier? And he says it runs great on iPhone. What runs great on iPhone? Windows. No, I mean, to your point, I definitely agree. I mean, Microsoft and the events right now, I don't know. I mean, if Microsoft came out and did a whole spread like Google and also showed me that we're going into home and all these other things somehow, like for whatever reason, they were like, oh, here's everything we're doing, then it would give me some more faith. But the fact that they're scaling back a lot of things, we see the ban has been kicked off. We know that.
Damn it.
We know
Can I go on a rant on that?
Yeah, the mobile division has been gutted, beyond belief. The only thing that works well is the Xbox, just because that is printing, at least is making money for them. Windows, now the updates have been doing some funny stuff, and we all know how the update history is. So I don't know. But yeah, Warren, because I really don't know.
The Microsoft ban thing pisses me off so much. It just pisses me off because there is a steady, not big, but solid community of us that are very tied to the Microsoft ban, love a lot of the features about it and a lot of the good things that it comes with. And for whatever reason, they're walking away from something that I feel like they're the only really hybrid of a fitness and smartwatch that worked well. They're the only ones that really honestly did both smartwatch-like features and did a great job with fitness at the same time and didn't get in its way. Mm-hmm. And now they're just going away from it and saying, we're not going to make this anymore, but we're going to rename our app Band instead of Health. And we're just going to support other devices that don't support the things that the band actually supports. It's just I don't know anymore.
On a brighter note, Soldier just agreed that he does look like Diamondback. So I think Warren is safe now. Warren's safe.
I feel it's my duty as the pale skin of the group and the bleeding heart liberal to be offended on everyone's behalf regarding this.
I'm offended for everyone. Hey, it's Halloween's coming up. I'm just coming up with some good ideas.
Do you know what his idea? He said I should shave my head and get a hoodie with bullet holes and go as
Luke Cage.
I don't know. I mean, if Soldier can get himself that like pea green hammer suit and
I'm sorry, guys. This is where this discussion is going. See how Microsoft
isn't this way better than talking about Microsoft right now? Come on.
I know.
Yeah, definitely Chicago. I can't wait for a season 2. But that's the thing though. Microsoft is not that engaged in that. We have literally just said, okay, this is what we expect, and we'll see. And that's it. And oh snap! I think he's calling you Shades.
Oh! The funny thing is, one of them being more accurate Shades is the person that plays Shades because Shades is supposed to be Spanish.
That's hot.
We just need a cotton mouth and we're good.
That's awesome.
Oh God, sorry. Oh man.
I wish I could see Juan's face, but the Hangouts decides the camera. No, not today.
Stupid freaking camera.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to something else. Sorry, my brain's a little off here. Comcast is introducing data caps.
Yay.
1 terabyte in-home data caps.
Said no one
Isn't it
ever.
great? It's going to improve service for everybody now, right?
Yeah,
right.
Said no one ever.
So Juan, why don't you kick things off?
It's again, this is anti-consumer behavior. I really want people to get involved with their state politicians, get involved with the FCC. And any move like this is not built on any kind of guarantee of improving quality or reducing network congestion or traffic. And it's simply a way to redefine the home cable market in a way that gives preferential treatment to Comcast services over other online services. We can't just be grumpy about this. I've written my congressman, I've written my senators, I've written my local state reps to say I do not agree with this style of business practices. And if this is the way that they're going to do business in these markets, I will be very interested in looking at candidates who support stronger FCC regulations. And I'm going to be looking at donating money to campaigns for people who are going to allow for a fair and even playing field for telecommunications. Unless there's a groundswell, then we're going to be stuck with terrible policy, and we're going to be stuck with absolutely miserable business decisions from companies that have no incentive to compete. There is no incentive for Comcast to engage in competition when they can engage in business practices where they can set up their own little mini monopolies over communities.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I it's sad to see that, the foolishness of mobile data caps and the unlimited that we have there is coming to home.
So we're going back to this AOL crap. They're gonna start sending us disc with data caps on it.
Yeah.
And just looking at it here, it says 1 terabyte on a monthly basis. In the 12-month period, nothing will happen. But the first 2 months that you go over, nothing will happen, sorry. And then the third month, if you go over your 1 terabyte data cap, you'll be charged $10 for an additional 50 gigabytes of data. This will continue to happen to a limit of $200 per month.
Or you pay $50 and get unlimited.
$50 per month and get unlimited. So whatever you're paying, if it looks like you're always hitting that 1,000, you have to pay $50 more. This puts everyone at that very, just imagine companies start doing this, and how we've now moved from being the society of, we have cell phones, but now we use Wi-Fi a lot. We have Wi-Fi tied to all our carrier services, T-Mobile, AT&T, everybody has it. So we're like, once I walk into my apartment, Wi-Fi's on. Done. You know, if I go to Sam's place, I connect to his Wi-Fi. Go to Warren's, same thing. If I ever show up at Juan's place, it would be the same thing too. But
you're always welcome, bud.
Yeah. But now, no, that thought of like, you know, friends coming to my house, like, yo, can I jump on your Wi-Fi?
No.
Yeah. $5.
No,
right.
Here's
my
thing.
PayPal account, and you can pay part of my bill.
Here's the thing, though. At least it's not the 300 that they were originally planning with this. It's because remember these were tested with 300 gigabyte caps originally. It wasn't 1 terabyte originally. So at least they smartened up to that point of at least a terabyte, which I could say the majority of people will probably not hit that. That's probably an honest thing. The majority of people out there, the average consumer, probably won't. But it still isn't great for those that are extremely data centric. If they stream and download a lot of their content that they watch, if they do a lot of gaming, if they download games, you know, from that are these 50, 60 gigabyte games, and they do that quite a bit, if that's how they consume their data, that 1 terabyte can be eaten up pretty quickly. And considering that there's questions about how well Comcast data cap counter actually works,
right?
It just becomes another thing that now the consumer has to worry about. And because of this monopoly,
that's definitely
it
the
locks,
fear is that
it locks people out. It forces people into paying $50 more. I think the attack on this isn't necessarily for the folks that are like me that have the triple play or something like that, or has TV and internet. This is an attack on the people
cutters.
This is for the cord cutters. They want to get that loss that they're losing from the cord cutters. That's who they're aiming after. You know, they're looking for those folks that are paying only $70-$80 and they want to tack another 50, make them $100 basket or so. That's what they're looking to do, is to get those folks like that. But like I said, for the majority, most likely, the average people probably will not hit that cap. Now, for people that are in this hangout, this freaks us out because we can easily hit that cap in a month without even really thinking about it. So, but
again, it's regardless of what the cap size is, it's that now you have to have that in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
That you have a meter, and it will have, I mean, to Thunder E's point, I mean, we were joking, but like it does have a chilling effect on the future of other connected services. And you're right, it's not going to affect people like you because you have that triple play set up. So you're a good consumer for Comcast. I mean, you're on Comcast. Is that what?
Yeah, we're on one. Yeah, we're in Comcast here in the Boston area.
So you're right. Like, you know, they're not going after you, but you're already engaged in a level of business with them where it wouldn't make sense for them to step on you. This is going to have, over time, I feel this type of business is going to have a significant chilling effect because we see the future of data growing, not shrinking.
Mm-hmm. Right? I'm taking a look at
every new service that comes out. We're going to be looking at 4K streaming video, 360-degree immersive video.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking at virtual reality, streaming gaming platforms, things like that, that more general consumers will be moving into those arenas at a time where Comcast is trying to make sure that you always have to have in the back of your brain, oh, but I can't use this too much. You know what? Let me put this game down for a bit and I'll watch, you know, some of my Comcast triple play is what Comcast wants the conversation to look like. I say we get active. We start complaining about this style of business practice. And until we have areas where we have real competition, we actually need better regulation.
I just took a look at my the last 3 months of what I've been using for internet. They'll tell you that. So in July, I used 592 gigabytes. August was 364 gigabytes. September is 499 gigabytes. And then so far this month, I've used 163. So I'm well under that cap. But even then, that's for just me singular. If you could imagine if there's 2 people like me in this place, we'll easily go over that, over that type of cap.
The last time I checked, and it was a couple months ago, between my wife and I, we hit 800 the last month that we checked. So we still would have been under a 1 terabyte cap, but we're pretty close.
Yeah. The last time I checked was when I was in Boston, and I passed a terabyte then. So
I have passed terabytes before in the past.
I just go like, I just upload and I use a lot of data and I stream a lot. But I mean, you're definitely right, Juan. I mean, it really is targeting. And one of the sad things about it when I saw this article on the news was, I was, this is like Comcast has, to me, Comcast is a weird company. They have some nice ideas, and then they go back to that. It's almost like that old evil way.
It's a tale of two companies. It's like a Two-Face, and it
Yeah.
doesn't. It's like Two-Face, and it doesn't. There's still parts of that old company that are still attached to Comcast that they haven't quite shedded yet.
Because I was very happy when they announced that partnership, and also because it was partnership as in coming out on Samsung TVs first. I think in next month or so, they're going to have the app there, so you don't need a cable box anymore. I'm like, oh, this is great. I mean, it's for Comcast, for you. This is a nice way to try and expand your network without actually having to go into regions anymore. You just have to download the Comcast app, right? In Cali or wherever you are, and you're good. I'm like, this is awesome. And then you now give data caps. I mean,
yeah,
like pick one. Pick who you want to be. Do you want to be old evil? Or do you want to be the new guy?
And then also, I mean, to that same token, I think this also puts a crimp on people that are looking to create content. Because your upload counts against your data cap too. So, if I do a camera review, what was it? My last camera review was the iPhone 7, and I did that in UHD. I rendered it at 50 megabit per second bitrate, so I would feed YouTube the highest possible quality file before YouTube wrecked it. I want to say that final video ended up being something like 4 or 5 gig. So that's 4 or 5 gig that would have counted against my data cap for one video. That's 1%. No, that's half of 1% of my terabyte cap. But I'm doing videos like that on the regular, in addition to using my internet service as a form of entertainment. So that's rough to have to consider that, and is now part of an additional expense for me trying to participate in creating content on top of just being a digital internet consumer.
Yeah. To Juan's point, yes, definitely complain. This is a perfect time to bitch complain as much as you want. Let's see. Secondhand Joe. Joe changed his name to Secondhand Joe. Fellas, an article on Ars Technica last week. AT&T to end targeted ad programs. Give all users lowest available price. Okay. That's good. I mean,
that would be the right time for AT&T to do anything positive for their image, because there are too many stories of them out there trying to sue communities for building their own internet. So that would be a very nice gesture on their part.
Yeah, because it's too many times when you sign into, the internet prices are different for all these companies everywhere. Their packages are different prices all around the country. You have friends in Atlanta and they're paying one thing, maybe $10 less. And you're like, I'm paying this for my cable, but we have the same package. Well, did you get a deal? No, I just saw it on the website.
It's like worse than airline tickets.
Yeah, considering it's actually coming from the same website, not like multiple different sites.
Right.
All right, moving on. Oculus had its big Oculus convention, and they announced a couple of things. They announced the Oculus Touch, which is the controller, which you can pre-order on the 10th. Also, will come. This is where I'm not sure, because a lot of the articles said that to get the full room mobility, like HTC Vive, which you can see back there, you need a third sensor, and that's $79. But according to what Oculus sent me, because I pre-ordered one of the early backers, they said I just need to pay $199 for the sensor and the controller. So I guess the narrative is kind of lost there. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know once I see it. And also they also dropped the specs of compatibility for Oculus Rift. So you no longer need like super crazy hardware. They did tell you that your frame rate per second will drop to about 45, 50 compared to, what they were pushing at 80, 90 frames per second. So at least trying to get more people with, low mid-range computers to actually.
Well, and wasn't the idea that frame rate drop was that they were going to be doing some kind of fancy interlacing so that it would still resemble a faster frame rate? Do you guys think that that's going to work? That interlacing, when you're using optics right up against the eye, because I've played with Oculus. No, I've not played with Oculus at all. I've played with the Vive very little. Do we think that that's going to be an appropriate solution for driving?
It might be. The reason why I say that is that my experience with the $600 build using Oculus actually for that video series, I was getting a wide range just because the graphics card can perform more, but the RAM and the chipset was limited.
We're holding it back.
Yeah, it was 45 to 80 frames per second, and then at some point it would jump. So I'm hoping that's where that interlacing will work. I'll try it out again and see, since they've now dropped specs there, but it was
actually
interesting to see.
That makes sense. That makes sense that like interlacing would probably be preferable to inconsistent frame rates and frame drops. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it was nice to see that. And they also mentioned their standalone system, which kind of looks like the regular headset. It's not as stylish as what Google released, but but that was just a prototype they mentioned. So anyway, thoughts on Oculus's announcements at the event?
I'd still buy a Vive.
Okay. The only reason why I'm beginning to lean more to Oculus is they actually do have some games.
Yeah, I know.
Vive is not
so again, I'm glad to see that Oculus is presenting a roadmap for future products, and that they're getting after compatibility. They're trying to bring this down into a realm where more people might be able to participate and interact with it. I guess like I'm just a little cold on VR right now, because I feel like the buzz in the discussion from the tech communities in VR in no way resembles the consumer awareness of VR.
Yeah,
I forget who ran the survey, but it was something like a shockingly large percentage of people surveyed could not even name one company making VR hardware. Like, there was just like no awareness out there in the consumer space. And so like until we see a little bit more traction there, I still think, you know, were we to tomorrow start developing consumer AR, it would very easily and very quickly eclipse the VR market and community.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely, you're definitely right. But I think this is where Sony has a nice window to really push PlayStation VR.
This pie is nowhere near done baking. If another company walked in, like a Sony or Microsoft, and started pushing their own solutions, I think they could easily gain traction over Vive and Oculus. Definitely.
Any thoughts, Warren?
I kind of agree with what Juan's saying. It's just very hard to get excited because it's cooled off so much, because nobody can really name who does VR, because neither companies really put out a great amount of advertising to say that they lead VR, because it's kind of just one big beta. Even Sony themselves, I mean, PlayStation VR is coming, but I haven't seen the heavy ads for it either.
No, it's almost like it launches on the 13th next Wednesday.
It's almost kind of like their
beta.
Kind of, I don't know if we want to say anything just yet, and you know, I think they're kind of they're kind of waiting to see what happens. It seems like everybody's on that beta tip. So I think when we get to next year or by 2018, when we start seeing second versions and refreshed hardware of these devices, once they've got their consumer feedback, I think we'll start to hear more about VR. We'll start to see more of it out there. But for right now, it's just kind of quiet, so it's kind of hard to get excited about.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. The one thing I did like was, like Juan stated, you know, Oculus had a roadmap. Oculus also had hardware. They also had games. Like, to me, as on the gaming side, it was the games that was really, really nice to see. They actually had things out there, unlike Vive, which is still running a lot of demos. You can still, I mean, you can play your Steam games in Vive if you want to, but that's just playing regular games in Vive. That's pretty much it. So it was that kind of stuff. And then they also demoed like the VR environment, where they had Zuckerberg talking to people. His wife called in on Facebook. I was going to say Hangouts, but he actually said, "Oh, I'm getting a call on Facebook Messenger." I was like, "Yeah, it's true. You can make phone calls on that thing.
You can do everything. All that stuff."
Yeah, I know. And his wife called, and he took a selfie in the virtual world with her, and like a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, the interaction there and what they were doing was pretty nice. I just want to see what they want to do with that as a whole, because it sounds like, remember PlayStation Home?
Yep.
Yeah, it feels like PlayStation Home, but better. You know how Home had, remember how Sony had lots of very big ideas of PlayStation Home? it's this place where you can kind of chill and hang out before you go play your game, kind of thing. This one was more of, they were doing virtual meetings. They were also interacting with the environment at the same time because he was actually looking at his living room and the dog was there and, things like, and the wife called, and the fact that the virtual perspective also mimics natural perspective. So him turning his hand where he was holding the phone call to show his wife the dog.
Oh, cool.
Those kind of things. I was like, okay, I can see what they're trying to do. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go with it. Maybe this is something they may want to push on a more, for simulations or companies that will run simulations and maybe training programs and things like that kind of stuff in there. But that was interesting. Moving on to our next topic and last topic for the day. Who's going to buy Twitter?
So don't we have like a little bit more information on who's not buying Twitter?
Yes. I think it's Salesforce. I think Salesforce is the one that's going to buy them because now that everyone's been pulling out, and Salesforce CEO says, he came out and basically stated that, he likes it. Price is a little too high, pretty much.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna drop low enough for them to afford it, though.
If they want to sell by the 28th, according to all the market speculation,
I don't think this happens until next year at this point.
I'm just saying, if they want to sell by 28, they will drop that price.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there's only one person left. Disney's pulled out. Who was the other?
I don't know how the hell that's gonna happen that fast. that is literally.
Oh no, it can happen. That's really not that hard, really. It really can happen because now you have a situation where Twitter was a sexy buy, right? Was like 2 weeks ago. Now it's not the sexy buy.
Yeah, but essentially it's got a tank to the price that they want, and I don't think they want to. I think they don't want to pay double digits on it. And that's the thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think they want to.
Like, they want to hope that thing drops down to the single number stocks, which I don't see it going that low.
They have to sell. They most likely will sell in double digits, like very low. I'm thinking like a 10 billion, maybe 11. The reason why is because
that's my problem. I don't.
So basically, Stephen Elop needs to run Twitter for a couple months. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean like a couple of weeks because they want to sell by the 28th.
They'll tank it. I don't know if he works that fast. It's hard for me to see them to take the stock down to a really low, either really low teens or really like single digits in enough time for that to work out that way. I mean, it might tank after they hear the.
What was the initial valuation price that was going on?
I don't remember. I don't think they threw a number out there.
Yeah.
I mean, at its peak was the peak was $25 during this whole thing.
You mean 25 billion?
No, I'm talking about per stock. I don't know. I'm sorry. I
would buy Twitter for $25 to fight everybody.
No, I'm talking about. I'm thinking of more of a pure stock because most likely what they're going to buy is the majority shares of common stock to take it over. So I think they're hoping they can get it at $8 or $9 a share or something like they could steal of a lifetime, like Instagram, like Facebook stole Instagram for $500 million. When you think about it, that ain't a lot of money for what they paid for it. I think they're trying to look at that and trying to get the same thing. I just don't think Twitter's going to tank that far enough for them to accomplish that in like 3 weeks. So they're either going to come to some happy medium or
exactly.
Or they'll announce the numbers are not so great, and then it'll tank, and then it'll fire sale itself at that point.
Yeah, the thing is that I think they'll come to a happy medium because I think Salesforce wants it. Salesforce is the only person that it looks like they really want it because they're probably looking at Twitter as a very good business tool. I mean, besides the social aspect, they also know that they can probably sell and do more from that.
They're just pissed because they got beat for LinkedIn and they're still trying to sue Microsoft for it.
I mean, yeah, they bought out for LinkedIn, but
they wanted LinkedIn and they got bodied. And now they're mad about that.
Yeah, but I feel
Twitter
like Twitter is a better buy for them.
I don't think so. I don't think Twitter fits into what Salesforce does. And they just want. It's like they just want a social network. so they don't have to make their own. They just want that aspect within their portfolio.
No,
And
I mean, you see, do you know
now
what,
they
I mean,
do.
you know what Salesforce does, right? If
Yeah,
you find out with every single company that's already on Twitter and give them higher tools and better services integrated with Salesforce, come on, man. That is huge.
That's nothing.
It's better than LinkedIn.
That's nothing that an API can't solve that they're already probably doing.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, you're getting live consumer track back from that.
But Thundery, to Warren's point, I mean, what you just described, like, what if they bought Twitter and then did these things and then took this data and then worked this system, and then, you know, like, you had like a 3-part or 4-part chain where LinkedIn probably would have fulfilled all of that.
What
Salesforce might have wanted just right out of the box. So
I don't disagree with you. I don't
disagree.
It would have. If you Salesforce perspective, which is very, very business driven, that absolutely would have fit.
The name of the company is Salesforce.
Yeah, but
they started off as you got to remember, they started off as a CRM, but they do many other things.
Data, no matter how you look at it, it really doesn't. Twitter does give you consumer data if you.
But you got to remember but LinkedIn also gives you very sorted out good data about employees, about works, about business.
Yeah. I'm saying if
that fits into their portfolio a whole lot better than tweets from Donald Trump. Okay, like that's what they're buying.
Twitter is not just tweets from Donald Trump.
But then you also got to remember
it's a lot of tweets from Donald Trump.
and then you have to remember the policing.
Keep quiet there, voice of Optimus Prime. We don't see you.
You also got to remember it has challenges in the fact that they have to police the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
It's got such an issue with some of the content that's on there. Who really wants to? Does Salesforce really want to take that on? Which is going to cost them more money to take that on, to deal with that, to deal with the things that they're dealing with in terms of terrorism and ISIS, to deal with the bullying, to deal with the Donald Trumps of the world and stuff like that on there. They have to jump in and police that stuff. Do they want to go in and do that and dedicate time to it? Yeah, I don't think they have the money to do that. Yes, I think if Google and Microsoft do, but I don't think they got the money to do that.
Money to do that. They do. Salesforce wants to. That's why they're in this conversation. If you didn't want to do it, you would not be in this conversation. Google and
they're in this conversation because they wanted to buy a social network and they're mad they didn't get LinkedIn, so they want to get the next best thing that was up and try to make it work for them. That's what this is. There's no reason, because if LinkedIn and Salesforce were up at the same, LinkedIn and Twitter were up then at the same time, we wouldn't even be talking about Salesforce looking at Twitter.
I mean, but I think they know the challenges that are in there. The only reason why the others pulled out is because they want to get at fire sale. So if they don't buy now, if Salesforce doesn't buy now, then it's going to drop to Google at a fire sale of like.
Jack, their CEO is about as smart as a Snapchat CEO, so they won't sell it at Pine. They'll get at a fire sale, and Google will probably be the one to throw a whole bunch of fucking money at it, and it's the end of the day.
Snapchat is valued at $25 billion, by the way. Supposedly,
that doesn't make any money, but it's apparently they're valued at $25 billion. That thing's gonna tank and it's gonna be awesome.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna. I think we should do like a little segment of valuation of all ourselves. I value Juan at roughly about $2.5 billion. I think he brings a lot to the discussion here. Very robust, balanced.
I agree with that valuation.
Nature. I value Mr. Warren Bowman for BW1 at roughly about like $2.3 billion. I think it brings a little edge to the calculation here.
Wait a minute, did you just go from 25 to 2.3? What the hell?
No, Warren was 2.5. I didn't say 25 billion. Relax. I mean, hey. I mean, do you want to drop lower? You keep agitating the stock will drop. I'm sorry, man. Jesus. I mean, I don't like to evaluate myself here, but I just
it'd be a shame if your valuation were to drop. You should just play ball, Warren.
We can't have this unless we have our resident banker who isn't here, who can actually do proper evaluation.
I mean, I
don't trust your evaluations.
He's valuating. He's actually currently just recalculating our valuation. It's really high at this point, but we just wanted to be in line with the other hosts of the show. Just saying. Anyway, it looks like Twitter may not be bought anytime soon from the way things are going, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that company because they need help.
They do.
Yeah, and Buddha says DJ Khaled made Snapchat big.
Boom. He ain't wrong.
Yeah. All right. We've got to that point of the show, which is the end. And we talk about what we currently have on the channel and what we can expect next week. So I'm going to start off with the face of Optimus Prime himself, and the voice, Mr. Juan Bagnell. What do you currently have in pocket now? What can we expect next week? And also some Gadget Guy, because I know you posted some stuff.
Yeah. So it's funny, on Gadget Guy on Monday I'm going to be doing just another sort of live stream on the Comcast data caps. That I'm getting political about that. I want people to be engaged and involved in that. So that'll probably be out Monday night or Tuesday night, and it'll be a live stream. If you guys want to join the chat, we can all have a discussion about how shitty some business practices are. For the Pocket Now, I just put out this morning. I got this funky little LG phone after all of the high-end devices I've been reviewing. It was kind of refreshing to take a step back and just see, like, how has the entry level been over the last year. So we just wanted to see, like, could you actually get stuff done on a $70 Android smartphone? And so we just put out that video today. And then next week, we're going to be taking a look at the Lenovo Yoga Book. And I'm going to be doing just a little bit more commentary on audio, because I got a little mini USB DAC to connect to various phones and computers and stuff, and just see how that compares against some of the headphone jacks and audio playback that's actually built into a number of consumer grade phones.
Cool. Mr. Warren Bowman.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're there.
Oh, okay. I wasn't working for a second. I didn't have anything up this week. It's been a little bit of a busy week with some stuff outside. But next week, I'll definitely have some good stuff coming up for you guys. Probably on this Gear Fit here. And probably a couple things on Project Fi that I've been sort of wanting to get out there about it as well, too. I got a few things planned, so stay tuned.
All right, cool. On Sam's end, he dropped the Gear Fit 2 review.
No way.
On Friday. Yeah. And yes, he's also currently working and on the Nas review or video that he mentioned, and another video. So expect 2 next week from Sam.
Whoa.
Exciting, isn't it? Yeah. On my end, we talked about the Pixel this week. We had a live reaction with Juan, and also did a video that Warren suggested, the War on Headphone Jacks. We did a live discussion on that.
Dun, dun, dun.
You guys said it was informative, so thank you for joining. That was actually pretty cool. Checked out the Zenfone 3 Deluxe. I should have my review up next week for that device from Asus. And Gears of War, posted 4K video from Gears of War. I've been recording my HDR Gears of War footage of that. So the review should drop either Sunday or Monday morning, one of the two. And then for all you PC people who were complaining about the Lenovo PC I reviewed last week, which is the Y900 with GTX 980 and cost about $2,500, here is something for you. This will be out next week. This is the MSI. It is 17 inches and it is 5 pounds, and comes with a 1060 and costs $2,000. So yeah, it's cheaper. Yeah. That's
so
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will have that for you next week. Anything else on the docket that we missed before we round up the show?
Nah, I think we got the big stuff.
Okay. All right, good. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in the chat. Sorry we couldn't take all your comments, but if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section of this video.
Hey, don't forget about Flip Bayless. That's probably the best name in the chat.
Yes.
Flip Bayless.
Sorry, SOG323 says, no, not the end. Yes, we do have to stop sometime. So
we know how many people are watching, because apparently Google doesn't want to tell us that on the website either.
But thank you very much. Definitely check out all the channels. Check out Mr. Juan Bagnell, aka Optimus Prime's face. You find him on Pocket Now, where his videos are. His Twitter handle is Some Gadget Guy, all one word on Twitter, and you can follow him there and see all his wonderful thoughts on Twitter.
Yeah.
And Mr. Warren Bowman from BW1.com. That is his Twitter handle, as well as also the YouTube handle for the channel. You can check out his videos, some awesome content there from Warren's going to be dropping some more stuff this week, as well as us, Bored at Work. That is Twitter as well as YouTube. And at this point, we say thank you very much and always enjoy your entertainment. Bam.